This is the NBA 2K Rating Stock Watch, the show where we recap the NBA and break down which players should be going up or down in rating. I'm your host, the Real 2K Insider. We're breaking down games from October 26th, 2021, day 8 of the NBA season, of which there were 5 games. So let's start off with the Knicks, who beat the Sixers 112 to 99 to move up to a 3-1 record. Kemba Walker had 19 points, 5 assists, 5 threes in 28 minutes, his best game as a Knick, and Derrick Rose followed with 23 points off the bench in 20 minutes. These two have yet to share the court, but they are producing at a high level between the two of them. The Knicks just always have 48 minutes of solid point guard play, which is a bit of an upgrade from last year. They had Elfrid Payton starting for them, so that's part of why they're being successful this year. Julius Randle, he had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Tough shooting night for him, but he continues to produce in line with what he did last year. So pretty comfy with all of the Knicks ratings for the most part. RJ Barrett's probably a little too high. He's not really hitting his shot, but gonna need a little bit more of a sample before I recommend any specific drops. Let's move over to the Sixers. They struggled tonight. Tobias Harris, really the only one who had it going. 23 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Joel Embiid, he really struggled in this one. Had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of 7 from the field, 0 of 2 on threes, 10 for 11 from the line. Also had 5 turnovers. He was looking gassed a lot in this one, and he couldn't really push Mitchell Robinson around in the post. So off night for him. Tyrese Maxey, he had 7 points and 3 assists in 30 minutes. Aside from getting outplayed by the Knick point guards, he isn't really getting the team going offensively. He wants to run all day, but the personnel doesn't really suit that style. It's kind of similar to like the Lakers with Russell Westbrook, and the rest of the roster is like built to play a half-court style. That's more or less what Maxey is dealing with. And his move to the starting lineup not going as well as would have been anticipated. I think he makes a solid spark plug off the bench, but he's just ill-suited to the bench role. And I would assume that once Shake Milton is healthy, he'll probably move into the starting lineup, as he's also not really a good enough shooter to take advantage of any pick and rolls with Joel Embiid. Really, he's just a 6'2" Simmons on this team, since he isn't a good enough shooter to really work with the starting unit. Seth Curry, he also cooled off a bit in this game. 4 points, 0 for 4 on 3. He'd been shooting like 76% from 3 coming into this, so for the 0 for 4 drops him substantially, but still overall having a pretty good year. Let's go to the Warriors and check out how his brother is doing. Steph Curry, he had 23, 6, and 4. Pretty solid and standard night for him. They beat the Thunder 106 to 98. Didn't really try too hard. They were trailing 8 earlier and then just, remembered who they were. Andrew Wiggins, his best game of the year with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Jordan Poole, 10 points and 7 assists. 7 assists are pretty good for him, as again, Curry takes more of a scoring role with the starting unit, so Poole's going to be able to get a couple more playmaking opportunities as a result of that. And Damian Lee, I'm going to mark him as somebody whose rating should be going up. He had 20 points off the bench in this one. He's been Golden State's most consistent bench player and is averaging 14 points on the year. There's no way that he should be this low compared to relative to the two-way guys and Gary Payton, who barely made the team, Moses Moody, who's a rookie and not really playing, and obviously guys like Otto Porter, who are, they have a rating based on their past history but hasn't done much in the last 2 years. Lee has been solid really since Klay Thompson went out, and he's a big part of the Warriors' success without Klay Thompson over the last 2 years. So his rating should be going up. Let's check out the Thunder, who I guarantee you not too many of their ratings are going to be going up this year. They dropped to 0-4. The Warriors moved up to 4-0, by the way. They're one of 3 undefeated teams. The Thunder are one of 2 winless teams, so they're on the opposite end of the spectrum. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 30 points, 11 of 19 shooting, 4 of 5 from 3. He's really the only guy that can play on this team. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, he started at center in this game, had 12 points and 5 rebounds, so keep an eye on him. And Josh Giddey had, where is he at? 7 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. He's going to put up all-around lines like that for much of the year. He's pretty comparable to like Evan Turner, in my opinion. Pretty good rebounder for a point guard slash wing, but his offensive numbers have got to come around. That's again, he's young, so the fact that he's playing big minutes for the team is a good sign, and probably should be like maybe like a 77 overall. I'm higher on him than I am on like Darius Baisley or Derek Favors or whatever. But let's go over to the Mavericks, who beat the Rockets 116 to 106. Mavs moved up to 2-1. Worth noting that all 15 players played in this game, which was requested by the quote-unquote leadership council of Luka, Kristaps Porzingis, and Tim Hardaway Jr., the best three guys on the team. A lot of all-around lines for the bench players in this game. Luka, he had 26, 14, and 7. Porzingis, he had an off night, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 for 10 from the field. Only played 19 minutes left with some back tightness, so he might miss a game or two. And then the guys on the bench, Boban, he made his season debut, I believe. Where is he? 11 points, 4 rebounds, and only 9 minutes. He was 5 for 5 from the field. He's always been like a stat stick. His production per minute is phenomenal. The game is all about him when he is in the game. It's just you're not always able to put him in the game due to his limitations. Jalen Brunson, he had his best game of the year with 11 points and 11 assists off the bench. And Reggie Bullock also had his best game of the year with 16 points and hit 4 threes. So it'll be interesting to see what the Mavs do moving forward with their rotations. Obviously, I don't think they're going to be playing 15 minutes a game. 15 players a game, but certainly it seems like some rotation players might have role shakeups moving forward. Let's go to the Rockets. They lost this game, moved down to 1-3. Christian Wood had 16 and 17. He's quietly the best guy on this team. John Collins, comparable level player. His rating should be higher. Jalen Green, he's struggled once again. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 of 16 from the field, 2 of 9 on threes, 0 for 0 from the free throw line. Has yet to take a free throw this year, and only 1 assist. So he had a big game in the last one, but other than that, he's been very erratic. I can't recommend raising his rating. Might even drop it like a point or two. He's probably been less consistent than Kevin Porter Jr., I would say. Eric Gordon also has been playing significantly better. He added 22 points off the bench in this one. Green is predominantly playing only because they are a young, rebuilding team. Certainly Eric Gordon, with his 13 years of experience, is a stronger player than Jalen Green. And he's basically either angling for a buyout or a trade. By the way, it was brought up by David Aldridge earlier today that he speculates that Wall will eventually agree to a buyout with the Rockets, and in the event of that, as it's almost impossible to trade his salary, especially during the season at $44 million. He would sign with the Heat as he lives in Miami during the offseason, and it makes sense that the Heat, they don't have a backup point guard. He would play a huge role for them, and he's also like 4 years younger than Kyle Lowry, so there's even some future value to be had there as well. Let's check out the Lakers, who beat the Spurs in overtime, 125 to 121. LeBron sat this one out, so Russell Westbrook naturally had his best game of the year by far, scoring 33 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, was 15 of 27 from the field. This only adds fuel to the fire of like Westbrook not really being a good fit next to LeBron, for him to explode like this with LeBron out of the lineup. Obviously, I think that they should stagger them and maybe even bring Westbrook off the bench, or certainly LeBron is going to have a little bit of load management this year. I think they have. I think that's really what Westbrook is there to do, is just give LeBron the luxury of like keeping himself fresh during the regular season. So based on the Russ's performance in this game, I would anticipate that LeBron's probably going to miss like 20 games this year, kind of treating himself like Kawhi Leonard. Anytime he's not feeling 100%, he'll be able to sit out, I think. AD also had a solid game, 35 points, 17 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 15 of 31 from the field. And it's also worth noting, these guys are both younger than LeBron. I think Russ, a part of them bringing him in here to the Lakers is he's going to be part of the team even after LeBron has departed, whether that's via retirement or if LeBron gets tired of playing in LA, wants to go back to Cleveland or whatever. I'm not going to speculate on LeBron's plans, but certainly the 1-2 punch of AD and Westbrook is something that, don't be surprised to see them leading the Lakers for the next 3 to 5 years. Malik Monk, he started for LeBron, had 17 points, and I think that was his best game of the year. Austin Reeves, he got 30 minutes in this one and had 10 points. Clearly should be a higher rated player than a 68. It looks like he's establishing himself in the rotation over like Avery Bradley. Kent Bazemore should be a little higher too because he continues to start, but I'd probably put Reeves maybe like a tick under Rondo. Like I'd have him in like the 73, 75 range. And certainly he's been able to fill in for Talen Horton-Tucker and Wayne Ellington, who've all been out with injuries. But as for the Spurs, they're a young and exciting team. They don't have much star power, but they do play team basketball, and they look to run. So, of course, against a veteran team like the Lakers, they were able to get out and transition a little bit. Murray had 21 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 9 of 24 from the field. A solid overall line for him. He's, with DeMar DeRozan out of the organization, a bunch of usage rates on this team are probably going to go up. It probably stands to reason that Murray is going to benefit the most from DeRozan being out, since DeRozan was a little ball dominant. So Murray and White should have higher usage rates and thus more production this year. So good bet for them to have their ratings boosted. Jakob Poeltl had his best game of the year, 27 points, 14 rebounds, 3 blocks, 13 of 17 from the field, only 1 of 5 from the free throw line, but he had a couple dunks late to really put exclamation points on the Spurs' fourth quarter run. Lonnie Walker, he's been much improved so far. Did not get a contract extension. He's using that as motivation. He had 21 points, 6 assists, 7 of 16 from the field, 5 of 7 on threes. So we can mark his rating up, and he's also playing above Bryn Forbes in the rotation. Forbes only played 3 minutes in this one. It seems like he's out of the rotation. On that note, Thad Young also only played 3 minutes, so definitely got to drop his rating, as there's absolutely no way that he should have a higher rating than Jakob Poeltl. So bump Poeltl's rating up as well. Keita Bates-Diop, he had 30 minutes in this game, had 6 points and 7 rebounds. So, hey, mark his rating up too if he's going to be in the rotation. Devin Vassell also, let's mark his rating up too. 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 threes. Worth noting that he played shooting guard in this game with Bates-Diop playing the 3. He had Vassell at the 2. And Lonnie Walker is actually like the backup point guard on this team. So he's had an elevated assist roll rate as well. And worth noting, I'm not going to mention this for every time it happens, but a little bit of G League movement. Josh Primo and Joe Wieskamp were sent down to the Austin Spurs. I'm only noting it with the Spurs because because they're lacking star power and they're not terribly deep. All their players are kind of rated within the same gap of each other, really. Josh Primo being sent down is relevant. It does show that he is out of the rotation. The other guys are going to get, the more established guys like Vassell and Lonnie Walker. It just cements that they have the green light, trust of their coach, etc. They're not looking over their shoulder or anything. They're going to have a consistent role, probably playing 24 to 28 minutes per game. So all in all, yeah, bump up the ratings for those two players especially. Let's move over to the Jazz, who beat the Nuggets 122 to 110. Jazz are one of the 3 undefeated teams. Had 7 players in double figures. They're basically like the Spurs equivalent, just they have a little more star power. Rudy Gobert had 23 points, 16 rebounds, 7 of 8 from the field, 9 of 16 from the line. So clearly the Nuggets front court could not handle him. Donovan Mitchell, 22 points, 6 assists. 9 of 20 from the field, but only 1 of 9 threes. Had 5 turnovers, so kind of like a slightly below average game for him, but certainly the points were there. Jordan Clarkson had 19 off the bench. Bogdanovich had 15. Where is he? Oh, all the way down here. He should have a higher rating too. Conley had 15 points, 5 assists. Joe Ingles had, oh my God, where is everybody? 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And Hassan Whiteside, 10 points, 4 rebounds. The Jazz rotation's really only like 8 deep, and, they share the ball a lot. So pretty much everybody's going to produce for this squad. Let's check out the Nuggets. Joker had 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Was 8 of 9 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3, 5 of 7 from the line. He did all of that in only 15 minutes. That's fucking ridiculous. He left the game with a knee injury, did not return as a precaution. The Nuggets are obviously going to be very careful with him. He's essentially their franchise, probably the best player in franchise history. 24, 6, and 6 in 15 minutes. That's per 48 minutes. That's like he was on pace for a 50-point. He was on pace for a 50-point triple double, like pretty handily. Per 48 minutes, that's like 75 points, 76 points. Jesus. So yeah. Keep his rating where it's at. Probably the best center in basketball since Embiid has been struggling a little bit. Will Barton, he's been playing very well. I would mark his rating up. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 of 16 from the field. Again, has been the second best player on the Nuggets this year. Michael Porter Jr. has been extremely disappointing, basically been a ghost. He's only averaging like 11 or 12 points a game. He had 13 points and 9 rebounds on 5 of 18 shooting in this one. Aaron Gordon had his best game of the year with 20 and 7 on 9 of 13 from the field. And Monte Morris likewise had a pretty good game, 19 points and 4 assists on 8 of 13 from the field. But they're going to need more from Michael Porter Jr., especially if Jokic has to miss any time. The Nuggets dropped to 2-2. The Western Conference is going to be a very tough and tight race. So they're already without Jamal Murray. They can't afford to be without Joker and not have Michael Porter produce. They are relying on Michael Porter to basically be like a Chris Middleton, Brandon Ingram level of player. Obviously, they need more than 12 points per game on shitty shooting from him. So that wraps things up. If you have any feedback or thought that I'm being too hard on somebody or too soft on another player, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.